The morning after James damaged the fat director's hat, he came down to see the red engine. "If you can't behave, I'll take away your red paint and paint you blue." James was afraid of losing his special color paint and vowed to act better. However, later that day, James was slated to take another passenger train. He bumped the coaches as he brought onto the platform. This time, however, no one came near him. Soon the guard's whistle blew. "Come along, come along, come along. Be gentle, we don't like this." But James took no notice. James snorted away from the station. The train rumbled over the points to the loop, with the coaches groaning the entire time. "Stop grumbling and get a move on." The coaches continued to complain. James would bump them often as a result. James also kept speeding up, which annoyed the coaches greatly. We're going to stop! We're going to stop! Wait, we are stopping!" And they were halfway to the station where Adam lived. The train came to a screeching stop in the middle of the main line. James was very confused. "Why have we come to a stop?" James fumed. The crew checked the train for the problem. "You've bumped a hole in the brake line." "Well, where he was banging around, you could have put a hole in anything," laughed the fireman after checking for any further damage. "The problem still stands," said the guard. "How do we run the train with a hole in the brakes?" The three men thought about the predicament at hand. "I know! We can patch it with something, like newspaper. I got some in the cabin, but what could we use to hold it together?" The driver considered the problem while the passengers started leaning out of the coaches, and even getting off the train. "Maybe a bootlace?" "Oh, the passengers are bound to have one." The guard turned to the crew of about 30 passengers that had gathered. "Anyone have a bootlace we could use?" The crowd fell silent. They turned to one another, inquiring about the bootlace. "You, my good sir," said the guard. "You have a bootlace. May we borrow it?" "Certainly not," spluttered the man indignantly. "Well then, we aren't moving another foot." The passengers started complaining about how bad the railway was. Then they turned to the man and berated him about how bad he was. Finally, the man gave in and handed his bootlace over to the guard. The guard carefully bandaged the offended coach, who whimpered. The train got started again. James bustled into the station before the hill where Adam stood, fuming. He glared angrily at James. "What time do you call this, youngster?" he rapped. "I'm sorry, no excuses. I shall have to do some smart work if I'm to make up for lost time. The express was supposed to go through 10 minutes after you left. It went through almost 20 minutes ago. I'm sorry, Adam, I had..." Just then, Adam's guard's whistle blew. "Don't ever do it again," he thundered as he left. James knew that it was the least of the scolding he was going to get that day. He was terrified of what the fat director would have to say about the incident. He didn't have to wait long. As he pulled into the workstation, the fat director was standing on the platform. "A damaged hat is one thing, James, but this, your train was so late arriving here that the little engine was ordered to leave with only a third of its train 20 minutes ago. I've also been told that 2 of your coaches are damaged. One has a mangled brake pipe and the other has a damaged buffer. You're clearly too dangerous to be working. You'll be shunting coaches at the big station until I can trust you again. Am I clear?" Yes, James whimpered. Edward backed down onto his train and James limped sadly home. He had learned a very valuable lesson about coaches.